Everybody's got their own definition, something they're chasing through the noise. A picture in a magazine, a city full of neon signs. I used to wonder too, until you happened. You walk in, the room gets quieter, like every missing piece already knows where to land. My answer, when they ask me what happiness means, I just look your way and somehow everything becomes simple again. My answer, every corner of my heart, every place I've ever been leads me back to you. My answer is you. People spend their whole lives looking for a reason, trying to hold on to something that stays. But every answer I was searching for was waiting quietly inside your gaze. You don't even know what you do to me. One look and the weight disappears. My answer, when they ask me what happiness means, I just look your way and somehow everything becomes simple again. My answer, every corner of my heart, every place I've ever been leads me back to you. My answer is you. Maybe some things aren't meant to be explained. Maybe love was always this easy. A quiet moment, a familiar face, a heart finding home. My answer, when the world gets loud, when the days move fast, I still find my way to you. My answer, if they ask me once again what happiness looks like, I raise my eyes and there you are. I memorized the little things, how somebody took their coffee, how their voice changed after midnight, how silence settled between certain words. I carried details like they were treasures, protected them without being asked. Funny thing is, I can't remember the last kind thing I said to myself. Spent so much care learning other people I never noticed. Who was missing? Softest stranger. I knew everybody else by heart, but treated my own name like a passing thought. Softest stranger. Why was I gentle with the rest of the world than I ever was with me? I forgave excuses, I forgave distance, I forgave damage again and again. Built second chances for people who never asked whether I was alright. Meanwhile, my reflection's still waiting, patient as winter, at the edge of the room, watching me spend affection like I had none to keep. Somewhere along the way, I became familiar to everyone except myself. Softest stranger. I knew everybody else by heart, but treated my own name like a passing thought. Softest stranger. Why was I gentle with the rest of the world than I ever was with me? closer, would I finally see someone worth choosing? Softest stranger. Maybe love begins in smaller places, a quieter voice, a slower gaze. Softest stranger. I'm learning how to hold my own hand without letting go. Softest stranger. Perhaps the person I overlooked the most was standing here the whole time.
For a while, I thought missing you meant something was unfinished, like a door left open in the middle of winter, like a song stopping before the last note. I kept reaching for a version of you that no longer lived anywhere but memory. Then one evening, a strange piece arrived and sat beside me without a sound. Now I can love you without you. I don't need your footsteps coming down the hall. I don't need your voice returning my call. What I felt was always mine, long before it touched your hands. Now I can love you without you, and somehow that's enough. The photographs faded, the messages disappeared. Even your perfume lost its place in the room, but the tenderness stayed. Not attached to your shadow, not waiting at the window, not asking to be chosen. It simply remained quiet and steady like moonlight across an empty floor. I thought love would leave when you did. Turns out it learned how to stay. Now I can love you without you. I don't need your footsteps coming down the hall. I don't need your voice returning my call. What I felt was always mine, long before it touched your hands. Now I can love you without you, and somehow that's enough. I don't carry grief the way I used to. I don't hold the past like a wound. I keep the warmth, release the longing, and let the rest drift away. Now I can love you without you. The heart I gave away never really left. It was here waiting for me all along. Now I can love you without you. Your absence, it doesn't take it away. Now I can love you without you. I finally learned love can't survive without possession, without return. Now I can love you without you, and I am finally free. Spent a long while handing out pieces, like I had plenty left to spare. Bent my shape to fit expectations, called it kindness, called it care. Some mornings the mirror felt distant, like somebody else was brushing my hair. I kept rescuing people while my own ceiling collapsed somewhere overhead. Then a quiet thought finally reached me after all that noise. House I carry, the storm won't leave just because I asked. The cracks won't fade from looking past, so I learned how to stay inside my own walls. House I carry, the hands I needed were always mine. Used to treat the exhaustion like a badge, something noble, something earned. Kept every burden balanced on my shoulders, ignoring warnings. till they burn. One night, sitting on the kitchen floor with nothing left to rearrange, I stopped waiting for a rescue boat and started building something that could float. Not all battles need an audience, some victories happen unseen. I carry the storm, won't leave just because I asked. The cracks won't fade from looking past, so I'll learn how to stay inside my own walls. House I carry, the hands I needed were always mine. Brick by brick, breath by breath, a steadier version takes shape, not untouched, not unbroken, just harder to erase. House I carry, the road gets deep, the weather shifts, still I remain standing here with both feet planted where I belong. House I carry, if change begins anywhere at all, it starts beneath my own ribs. House I carry, and I won't leave myself behind. I was 21, missing the last train home, headphones on, trying not to think too much. You were probably somewhere laughing with your friends, yeah, completely unaware of a stranger like me. Back then our names meant nothing, our paths never crossed. Still I get this feeling, if I saw you there standing underneath that station light, I would've walked over. I changed the story, moved the years around, but one thing never changes. Any version of time, a year too early, a year too late, a different city, a different life. I still stop when you walk by. Any version of time, I think I'd fall the same way twice. A few years later, new apartment, boxes stacked against the wall. First night alone, trying to convince myself, yeah, I like the freedom more than company. Then I imagined you knocking at the door, asking if this unit was number 32. I'd probably smile way longer than I should, pretending I had a reason to keep talking to you. Maybe the details change, maybe the background shifts. You always end up right where my heart notices. Oh, any version of time, a year too early, a year too late, a different city, a different life. I still stop when you walk by. Any version of time, I think I'd fall the same way twice. Switch the season, change the skyline, give us different memories, different roads, different beginnings. The ending still arrives, looking just like you. Any version of time, across all the lives I never lived, across all the days I never saw, I still know that look in your eyes. Any version of time, if we met once I like you, if we met again I like you more. Any version of time, I think somewhere in any version of time, I'd find my way to you. Yeah, you started out like something temporary, just another person showing up after class, sitting on my desk, messing with my pens, laughing at things that weren't even funny. I didn't think much of it, honestly. I thought you'd disappear eventually, like everybody else does. But then your name started becoming part of my day. One message turning into entire nights awake. You slipped into my life so quietly, somewhere between shared earphones and mislast buses. At first, you were just somebody to waste long nights with. Now I check my phone, hoping your name appears first. It's stupid the way one person can slowly take over everything. But lately, even crowded rooms feel empty without you there. My friends keep talking and they're not alone, but half the time I'm thinking about you instead. The way you lean back in your chair, the way your voice changes when you get tired, the way you pretend nothing ever gets to you. I tried talking to somebody else once, they were nice, pretty even. Still I kept comparing them to you without meaning to. That's when I realized it stopped being casual a long time ago. You became familiar in the most dangerous way. Now every small habit reminds me of you. At first, you were just somebody to waste long nights with. Now I check my phone, hoping your name appears first. It's stupid the way one person can slowly take over everything. But lately, even crowded rooms feel empty without you there. Maybe this was always going to happen. Maybe I noticed too late. Some people enter quietly, then suddenly they're everywhere. Inside songs, inside silence, inside every version of the future you imagine. You were supposed to stay, something like somebody I could leave behind easily. Now your voice follows me through every part of the day, and no matter who I meet, nobody feels as real as you do anymore. I think I know before I admitted it. You stopped feeling temporary a long time ago. Found your handwriting between old receipts, folded in a paperback I never finished. Dust moved slowly across the windowsill, like the room remembered what I tried to forget. Funny how a few faded letters can pull an entire season back into the air. I read your name then stopped right there. Something survived long after goodbye. Not enough to return, just enough to remain. Blank top of the page where the missing sentence stays. A quiet space for words that came too late. You can place them there any way you choose. Blank line. Maybe that's where I still speak to you. There was a night outside a closing cafe when the street lights flickered against the rain. You asked a question, I answered something else, and both of us knew what stayed unsaid. Years have passed, the details soften, yet that unfinished moment refuses to disappear like a door neither of us closed. Perhaps silence keeps its own language long after voices fade. Blank line at the top of the page where the missing sentence stays. A quiet space for words that came too late. You can place them there any way you choose. Blank line. Maybe that's where I still speak to you. I won't rewrite what already happened. I won't borrow another ending. But if this letter finds your hands again, leave one thought between the margins for me. Blank line, yeah. Nothing written, nothing crossed out. Still it carries more than paragraphs. A small opening left behind on purpose, so whenever you read this you can imagine the thing I never say. Blank line, and somehow that feels enough.